What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we're closing down 2016 and we're going to close down our exotic countdowns. This time it's all about the Hunter, the Warlocks got their love, the Titans got their love. It's time to go ahead and check out all of the Hunter exotics and then go ahead and grade and rank them. We're going from worst to first, so we're going to see what gear is worth using our one exotic slot for on our Hunters. So of course, just like with the Titans and just like with the Warlocks, we've got a grading scale, and that's how we're going to go about figuring out where we need to put these items, and if there's a tie, then I'm going to have to subjectively rank them. But we've got a grading scale broken up into three parts. There is PvE, PvP, and a versatility score. For PvP and PvE, it's a grading scale from 1 to 5, obviously 5 being the best, and then for versatility, it's 1 to 3. Versatility score is basically, can you use this exotic item on a different class and still get a benefit for it? If you can only use it on one class and get a benefit, it gets 1 point. If you can use it on all three of the classes, you get 3 points. So that does give an extra little boost to those exotic items that you can wear on all three of your classes, because I think that makes it just a little bit more of a worthwhile weapon to have in your arsenal. Now, one thing I actually noticed with the Hunters is that some of their best pieces of gear are actually subclass related, which is really interesting, and it makes some of the Hunter scores feel like they're overall lower than with the other classes. But it's just because some of the best Warlock and Titan gear is useful on all three of the classes, where the Hunter ones are not. You really basically put on your exotic Hunter gear based on what subclass you're on. So that's really interesting, and it's just not exactly like that on the other two classes. So this is going to be our final look at the last exotic items in the game. We looked at our Warlock, we looked at our Titan. It's time for the Hunters to go ahead and get it on. Let's close down 2016 with a bang, and I hope everybody has a great new year. Starting things off at number 18, we've got the ATS-8 Arachnid. It is a completely forgettable helmet. Nobody in their right mind would ever put this on. The benefit of this is so useless. It's only for the golden gun. It helps you zoom more with the gold. You don't need this. You don't need this at all. You don't need it. If you get it, go ahead and keep it just for reasons and move on to number 17, which is a surprise. Mask of the Third Man. This is pretty much the only exotic that Blade Dancers wore back in year 1, and it's still so low on the list, but that goes to show you that it really wasn't even that worthwhile. You don't need this because there are definitely better Hunter exotics to wear for the Blade Dancer right now. At number 16, we've got the Don't Touch Me's, Xur's favorite for this week. Like I said in our Xur video, you're really not going to see anybody wearing these things. They had a little bit of use back in year 1, back with Crota, but now we've over-leveled that game and we don't need it to go ahead and complete Crota, and because of that, you're not going to see anybody really rocking these out. Next up is the Radiant Dance Machines. Now, I know some people like to put these on, and they like to wear the Mida, and they like to run around in Crucible with these. I personally just don't feel that they're that worthwhile to waste my exotic slot. Like I said, Hunter exotics are really good for their specific subclass. These aren't going to make me swap that. We've got the Skyburner's Annex next, and you really don't see this all that often in the game, but I feel like there's a little bit of use for it in PvE. You could generate some additional orbs, and generating orbs in PvE is a nice thing, especially if you're playing with a team, but overall these aren't going to help you all that much. Next up is the Knucklehead Radar. Again, I feel bad about this because I was a little bit down on it, but having Third Eye with your primary weapon is a really nice thing. We know this because we have a legendary artifact that does that. And because we have a legendary artifact, we don't need to waste our exotic slot on the same exact perk. Next up is the Lucky Raspberry at number 12, and you wonder why this is so low on the list whenever you can spawn with grenade energy. The problem is the Hunter grenades aren't exactly as great as the Warlock or Titan grenades. You don't have those insane grenades that you need to have, and if you do have those, you've got an exotic that actually ups their profile. Moving on, we've got the Bug on the Arm, the Capri Sun Sting, right? So this thing is all about getting your melees to deal out more damage, and you have the ability to go invisible from crouching, and it can be on any class. So it does give it a little bit of versatility on any class in PvE and PvP. At number 10, we've got the Celestial Nighthawk, which is PvE only. There is no sense in wasting your golden gun shots on this in PvP, but in PvE, there are definitely situations and scenarios where this thing is going to be your best choice for dealing out the most damage possible on enemies or bosses alike. So make sure you've got one of these in your vault. We've got the Crest of Alpha Lupi next, and just like the Crest on the Titan, just like the Light Beyond Nemesis on the Warlock, this thing is all about reviving your teammates faster. You could go ahead and do that in the Nightfalls for help, you can do that in Trials of Osiris or Skirmish, and that's basically it. It's not the best exotic, it's not the worst, it's just middle of the pack. Phage Symbiote is next, and this, like the Mask of the Third Man, was worn all the time in year 1, because it was pretty much the only option for Golden Gunners. It has definitely fallen down the list a little bit because there are better options and other exotics got buffed, but 4 Golden Gun shots is nice as long as you've got the timer to do so. Graviton Forfeit comes in at a strong number 7. People used to rock this out a lot whenever the Taken King came out. I don't see it quite as much anymore though. I see some other exotics going on, and I don't even really see all that many Night Stalkers anymore, which is probably the reason why you don't see this that often, because this is all about Shade Step and then Keen Scout. Sealed Omkar Grasps are pretty sick. They let you gain an additional melee, and even though people don't need that on their Golden Gun, and you don't see people rocking it out on their Blade Dancer, you do see it on Night Stalkers because smoke is great, whether it's smoke in PvE for invisibility or smoke in PvP for just depth. The ATS Tarantella is much better than the Arachnid. This thing was a massive step up, and this thing pretty much surpassed Blade Dancers using the Mask of the Third Man as far as their exotic. This thing was definitely the way to go all the way through the Taken King if you were lucky enough to go ahead and have it. And number 4 is Bones of Yo, and this is probably number 1 on many hunters' lists. They love this thing, and they'd probably actually swap my PvE and PvP score. My thing is, even though this is cool, I feel like I like my hunter exotics to give me just a little bit more power as opposed to a little bit of mobility, which I'm already pretty used to not having. At number 3 is Young Omkar's Spine. I love this thing. This is what I put on my Golden Gunners. I love it. Even though trip mines are nerfed and they don't deal as much damage as they should, it's still nice to go ahead and throw these things around as traps. People still run into them, and you'll still get some lucky one-hit KOs on low health Guardians. At number 2 is Shinobu's Bow. Probably people were thinking this was going to be number 1, but what really hurts this is you really can only use this on your Blade Dancer. But boy, oh boy, does it make those skip grenades amazing. Not only are they amazing, but you get 2 freaking skip grenades, and they're great. What a great exotic. At number 1, we've got the Frosties. So the reason why these boots were able to overtake the gloves on this list is because you could wear them on any subclass, and that is a big benefit. What these things do is they reduce the cooldown of your melee and your grenade whenever you're sprinting. You'll see a notification on your screen, you'll know that it's working. Heck, you can just look at your melee and grenade and see them charging as you're sprinting. They are really worthwhile. I like to put them on my Night Stalker and have Memory of Fellwinter and just double wombo combo everywhere, because who really cares about tether in PvP? So these are great exotic if you don't wear one of the pairs of gloves. If you don't wear Shinobu's or Young Omkar's Spine, this is pretty much the pair of exotic gear that you should put on. They're simply amazing. But that's just my list. You probably have a different list for hunter exotics, and I'd love to hear what exactly you love to wear. It's probably going to be Bones of Yo. I know it's going to be Bones. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your hunter, and I'll see you around in Destiny. #Happy New Year.